guys and gals? Never here from Drake Wing Gaming. It's something mounts word of the gaming drag. Today I'm coming back at you with a Let's Play episode of Sileo, Tai's Path. So let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Alrighty. Wait, by size, had Tai been referring to something else entirely? You mean he, boosted his manhood? Manhood? Saw that one coming a mile away. It is unlike you to be so careless with your words, Tai. Ah, of course. That did sound a little strange now that I reflect on it. Alas, the true story is not quite so entertaining. You see, the smallest member of the band was the one with the biggest ego. I never quite understood why, but his stature was a source of deep insecurity for Glenn. He compensated at the gym, and he made sure everyone knew what a big scary guy he was. He never ever went on stage wearing a shirt. He spent a night in the hospital once because he played shirtless in below-zero temperatures. Jeez, Tai. Two tough guys in one band must have been a struggle. Not at all. A timely example being that very same night where Lucas wore two whole sweaters, one on top of another. I resent the comparison. A wealth of wisdom, considerable maturity, and total absence of ego makes all the difference. Glenn was constantly getting himself into strife, and more often than not, Lucas was the one that would come to his rescue. One second now, sorry. Yeah, I was only kidding. Glenn sounds like a bit of a nightmare, and you're sure he couldn't have grown up a bit since then? Positive. Even if he had, I think the process of finding out would be a can of worms in and of itself. But I am sure some fans would be disappointed. What do you think we should do, Hunter? Oh, goodness. Alright, this sounds like a big part. Let's see. Maybe he deserves a chance to prove himself. I don't know. Perhaps he should at least audition just in case? Oh, you really think so? I mean, it can't hurt, right? Worst case scenario, you just tell him to take a hike. Best case, you get a full-blown reunion. Somehow I do not see him taking that projection well. Agreed. I think it's better he doesn't even know we're doing this. Avoid any ugly confrontations. Tai nodded in solidarity with Lucas, their minds made up contrary to my opinion. I apologize, Hunter. As a performing member, Lucas's opinion must take precedence. I hope you understand. Of course I do. It's your band. I support whatever you think is best. After all, I'm just here to enjoy some great music. Your support is most appreciated, my dear. Now, Lucas, I must apologize for having you handle the preparation for the auditions. Did you receive my many calls? You're out of town. Don't worry about it. Actually, I did put a phone number on the poster. Oh? If people have questions, they can turn up and ask them. We're a known band here in Woodcrest. I don't want my number public. Yes, I suppose that is fair, but that does concern me somewhat. Why? Because if all the information regarding these auditions were public, then what is to stop... Oh no. Oh no! Auditions, eh? The three of us froze in response to the unexpected voice that had boomed in from behind us. The auditions were not for another half hour yet. Whoever it was had wanted to catch Lucas and Tai alone, and I knew just who it was likely to be. Glenn from showing up. Oh my god, he looks... Oh my god. He's so edgy. We turned to face the new arrival, and there in the doorway stood a distinctive and imposing wolf. His fur an unusually dark palette, all dark grays and blacks instead of the typical lighter shades common for his species. His ears were covered in a multitude of piercings, a good match for the heavy-looking amulet he wore around his neck. His outfit choice was decidedly punk, a detail which served to confirm his identity beyond any doubt. Although there was something amiss. I was shorter than he was. What the hell? Had my entire life been one big sham? Was my average and perfectly adequate height not so average and perfectly adequate at all? Glancing downward, my eyes were drawn to his shoes, a pair of hefty boots with a thick, almost platform sole which gave him a good 2-inch boost. In bare feet, I surmised that our heights would have been a close match. Not that this made the situation okay. For the first time in my life, I felt a degree of inadequacy towards my own stature. I wondered to myself how Axel must feel, the top of his head barely reaching my chin. Glenn. The silence in the room was finally broken as Lucas coldly addressed our unwelcome visitor. Tai, on the other hand, extended a friendly welcome, his warmth no doubt feigned but nonetheless delivered with admirable gusto. What a pleasant surprise, my old friend. How long has it been? Dispense with the bullshit, Tai. I think you know why I'm here. This ain't a social call. I suppose it's good news for you, though. You won't be needing auditions. You know the Black Claws are nothing without their front man, without their star. You of all people remember how things ended. Yep, I do. Here I was trying to maintain a respectable punk rock institution while my guitarist couldn't think of anybody but himself. Starts conspiring with the label to take control of the band and fill our records with radio-friendly bullshit. That is a load of crap and you know it. Is it? We never agreed to that damn cover track. We never agreed to you singing on half the damn tracks on the last one. Signing bullshit promos and catering to the unwanted masses. Unwatched masses, okay. You fucks took complete control. I was the front man. I was the songwriter. But you wormed your way into the fucking label. Y'all had something in common. The only language you spoke was money. And with label at your back, you pushed me into the background. The Black Claw is sold out, and it's you two, the fucking greedy label to blame. Glenn bared his teeth. There's clearly no love lost despite all of the years that had passed, and much like Lucas had predicted, Glenn had not changed one iota, at least from how he'd been described to me. Until now, however, Glenn seemed like something of a boneheaded and stubborn individual. True as it may as well have been, however, I couldn't help but understand his side of the story as well. Things, they change, Glenn. People change. We were all young and fired up once, pissed off at the world, society and everything else. We all felt as though we had been dealt a raw hand. But life is more complicated than that. Life can be unfair. People can be unfair. But it is easy to fall into the trap of being so angry that you blind yourself to the person that is really responsible for those things you were so furious about. You remember my story. You know I have been there. At rock bottom. I only sought happiness, and I thought I had found a way to achieve it. Instead, it came so very close to costing me my life. It was a trap that took me down a dark and horrible path. And the whole time I was angry at everyone, everything. I exclusively blamed external forces for what I was going through. But in hindsight, I was the victim of my own poor choices, of my own lack of common sense, of my own stubborn nature and ignorance. I regret those decisions that I made, the people that I hurt, the damage I did to myself. It was, with no doubt, a terrible, terrible mistake. But I do not regret the harsh lessons that I learned from it. I do not regret the personal growth it spurred on within me. Get to the fucking point. What are you trying to say? Hardship is a fantastic teacher. It can make you stronger, wiser, more in tune with the world and yourself. That experience was one such hardship, as was the years we spent together in the Black Claws. You see, we as a band made a mistake right from day one. You, me, Lucas, we all wanted to make it our career. It became the focal point of our lives, which meant every half-filled venue, every disappointing sales report, every disappointing record contract. It stung. Eventually, Lucas and I came to the same conclusion. We were miserable in the Black Claws. It was so much hard work, so many long hours with so much pressure on us to practice and perform. We could not enjoy proper friendships, relationships, lives because we were on the road all the time. Not to mention the constant financial problems. It came to a point for us both. We were prepared to walk, leave it all behind, try and build normal lives for ourselves and be able to enjoy the things normal, everyday people enjoy. But instead, we had a change of heart. You see, we both remembered how things used to be before things got so complicated. The small local shows, the thrill of playing our own music, the excitement of it all, and so we set about trying to find that again. Long story short, it culminated in Lucas and me performing covers and having fun at our practices. Something you rarely ever took part in, despite the invitation to do so. And then one day, during a studio session, you got into a fight with the engineer. You walked. Was not a whole lot we could do without you, so we let him go home for the day. Poor guy was shaking. But we still had another hour block in our booking. And the studio time is expensive. So rather than let the studio time go to waste, Lucas and I recorded a cover song with my own lead vocals. Second, y'all. Alright, guys and gals, and we are back. Let's jump back into it, shall we? Alrighty. We had no plans of doing anything with it. It was just us having fun, and was destined for the vault. But the engineer discovered it during the mixing process, and you know the rest. We never conspired to have it on the album. That was our manager when he heard the track. But it became a hit single for us and eased our financial burden quite a lot. Even after the royalties to the original artist, we no longer had to worry about our next meal. And we quickly realized something else, too. We actually had fun recording it, too. And the same can be said about our third album. I never intended to step on your toes, although I know that is how it looks. Lucas and I just wanted to have fun, and as it would happen, management quickly caught on to that Quickly caught on that our idea of fun was good for them too. They encouraged it, strongly. Fuck me, your point? Tai went silent for a moment, scratching his chin as he thought of how to most concisely explain his point of view. Luckily for him, Lucas stepped in and did so on his behalf. The point is this. Tai and I were going to quit as soon as the second album went gold. We had the whole thing planned out. Weren't even going to do the tour. Eh? Didn't know that, huh? Everyone else did. Our manager, the label, the producer, but not you. Because we knew you'd fly off the damn handle. Because that's what you do. And you know what else? When the engineer found that recording, he was overjoyed. When our manager heard it, he went crazy for it. As soon as the label heard it, we got told it had to be on the album. They paid a pretty penny to secure permission from the original artist, as I hear it. Suddenly there was an air of excitement around the project that just hadn't been there before. And the crazy part? We'd gotten there just by having fun. That's why we stayed. That's why there was even a third album. And that's why we saw things through until the bitter end. Thank you, Lucas. That is exactly right. I speak for both of us when I say we did not regret sticking around as long as we did. Those last few years were the most fun we had in a long, long time performing music, and we are both very proud of what we achieved. But nonetheless, I feel as though we owe you an apology. I would not envy your situation in all this. I only wish that at the time we had been able to discuss things civilly. I only hope that we can still do so now and find a mutual understanding. Are you done? Indeed. Having now heard both sides of the story in detail, I understood the complexity of the situation. While Glenn hadn't conducted himself in the best manner at all times, his desire to remain true to their roots and to retain his position in the band made perfect sense. But at the same time, Lucas and Ty's desire to put their happiness first also made perfect sense. It was simply a situation of two incompatible objectives among allies, resulting in discord and an eventual dissolution of the group. As much was plain to see. Ty had done a terrific job in explaining himself, and Lucas had summed it up effectively. It was obvious by Ty's expression that he felt some guilt toward the situation. He may not have regretted his actions, but he regretted how they affected Glenn. On our side of the fence, there was empathy and understanding. There was regret and genuine apology, even though Ty and Lucas hadn't necessarily done anything wrong. At least anything realistically within their control. But the real question remained unanswered. Would Glenn see things the same way? That is the most typical bullshit excuse for selling out like a pair of chumps. Unbelievable. The two of you make me sick. I suppose his response was not entirely surprising. It only went to confirm Lucas and Ty's harsh opinion of Glenn's personality. Harsh, perhaps, but it seemed as though it was entirely fair and accurate. And Ty seemed disappointed and somewhat taken aback by Glenn's response. Lucas, however, fired right back. If anybody sold out, it was you, making the same goddamn derivative crap with every album. Nobody wanted to hear that. Why do you think our popularity soared after that cover hit the radio? I concur. There was a response unlike anything we'd ever seen. All the while doing the things we wanted to do. Being true to ourselves and our musical interests instead of just yours. Ha! It was generic drivel to lure in the masses. Of course people responded, because people are stupid, and to think that the two of you used to perform in the best punk band Woodcrest had ever seen. Despicable. You both had talent once. What a fucking waste. Angry at Glenn's outward hostility towards the two, I found myself unable to hold my tongue for another second. Shut the hell up! He speaks at last. Who the fuck even are you? Here for the audition, but you can't play for shit. You're right, good thing I'm not the bass player, huh? Ha! Ain't he a little young for you, old man? You're such a fucking creep. Lucas unleashed a guttural warning growl, more reminiscent of a carnivorous species than his own. I suppose that spending your entire life in such proximity to a tiger could have such an effect. Ha! So scary, the big fucking cow was mad. What are you gonna do, moo me to death? Lucas lurched forward suddenly, proving without a doubt that he's not all bark and no bite. Sadly, as much as Glenn deserved a clobbering, Ty stopped Lucas before he could reach him, holding him in place as he regained some of his composure. Alright, I'm gonna pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank you all if I do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silverman. Thank you going above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks to our two gold tier patrons, Zeke and Toby. Y'all are awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to Ultimate Tier. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to all of our Not Safe for Work contents as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!